Welcome back to Volks Racing PC. Welcome back to round two of the autumn 2022 season. We are at the Nurburgring and we are waiting for this to start. Yes, Nurburgring GP with that amazing MetalMoro MRX Duratec Turbo P3. This is race two. Mark Elder won race one. Of course, we had a technical problem with the replay. Let's hope that this replay we'll play until the end and see what exciting racing we have here today in this race. As usual, let's go to the starting grid of this race, and it is Chris Perry that's on pole position. The rookie finished second in race one, followed by Mark Elder. Second row, it's Darren Head and Kev Allen. Again in the same livery, third row, Diogo Silva and Jurgen Smets. Again in the same livery, we've got four cars that are black and red. Fourth row for Fred Bakker and David Good. Fifth row, Jorge Luna and Christian Clark and Rob Oldham with the other blue car. So we've got a blue car on pole position and a blue car in 11th. And last, as usual, we have 20 minutes of racing here. And let's go for the start. And it's a good start by Chris Perry. Or is it? No, it's not. It's a very bad start by Chris Perry. This overtaken left, right, and center by pretty much everyone. Mark Alder goes into the lead in third right. And look at that. Side by side racing. Very interesting racing there with Darren Head up into second place. Darren Head up into second. Look at him. He's in third spot now. Jurgen Smets up to fourth, and that was a pretty good race. What a disaster for pole position, man. Chris Perry, he's down into fifth place ahead of Kev Allen. Kev Allen not there, running wide there, under pressure from Fred Bakker. But let's look at the replay of what on earth happened with our pole position, man. Chris Perry, he did have a lot of problems getting traction off the line. We are rewinding to the start, and look at this, he's basically a sitting duck. He's pretty much overtaken by everyone, just slow off the line, goes into the middle of the track, and then look at that, it's pretty much everyone and their dog overtaking him on the outside. Nice place there by Darren Head on, a bit of contact there between, I believe, Kev Allen and I think it was Jurgen Smet, if I'm not mistaken. Very difficult to catch all the different liveries, all the different drivers in the same livery, but this is Chris down in fifth place. Let's look at more action further down the field. This is Chris Bakker, of course, we have seen this, and look at Rob Oldham, nice start there, overtaking David Good. David Good has had a poor start as well, and Jorge Luna in 11th, but the race leader already a couple of car lengths ahead of pretty much everyone. Lap one, we had time for 11 laps last time round. But look at the battle here for second place with Darren Head ahead of Diogo Silva, ahead of Jurgen Smets. Jurgen Smets very active, trying to put pressure on the Portuguese driver, that number 82, ahead of the other number 82. And Chris Perry, of course, very quick in qualifying, is coming back at these two drivers as well. We are still on the first lap through the Schumacher chicane. Now here is, look at this, Jurgen Smets on the outside there, didn't quite work, he wasn't alongside. But it seems to me that Jurgen and Chris both have slightly better pace than Diogo at this point. Oh, they run wide, Jurgen Smets runs wide, so does Chris Perry in sympathy. And look at that, they pretty much drop down the order. Fred Bakker is through, so is Christian Clark, and somebody is big time exit there. I believe it was Christian. No, it wasn't Christian. It was Christian Clark. We'll get a replay of this action where we can see what happened. And I believe it was triggered originally by Jurgen Smets and Chris Perry both running wide there. We're still on the first lap. Remember, we have 10 more laps to go. And now this is Christian Clark, and he's basically deciding where to go. And he is now, well, he's on the inside there, but runs wide on the outside. And he's in the gravel trap as well. He keeps it running and doesn't spin, but does lose quite a lot of positions. As yes, he does drop to last, as now we've got the first lap completed by race leader Mark Elder, and second place is Darren Hess, third place Diogo Silva, fourth place now is Kev Allen, fifth is Jurgen Smets, sixth Fred Bakker, seventh is Chris Perry, eighth is amazingly Rob Oldham. Nice start there from Rob, doing a good job there in the first lap of this race, going up 3 positions. We do have a functioning leaderboard in this race, which is somewhat useful compared to race one. But the race leader already is 1.6 seconds ahead of second place, and then another second separates second and third. And Kev Allen is already a second behind Diogo as well. On board with Kev Allen is in fourth place. Fifth is Jürgen Smed. Sixth is Fred Bakker. Seventh is Chris Perry. And we're going to follow this battle because it seems to be that Chris, who of course started from pole position, remember, ends up first lap in seventh place. And that's definitely not where he wanted to be. Now he's just stuck behind a very talented Fred Bakker and very good at defensive driving, as you can see here, putting that MetalMoro as wide as possible there through the Velo curve. Look at this Chris Perry with his typical line there, but didn't quite work here. Fred Bakker actually is quicker there on the Schumacher chicane. We keep an eye for other battles. Seems to be that Kev Allen is coming back now under a second from third place Diogo Silva, and Christian Clark has lost a lot of time. Christian Clark has lost a lot of time. Possibly it was a spin, but a 2:12 is really a rather slow time for Christian, even with that incident. 11th is Jorge Luna, then is David Goods, and then there's an itching battle because Rob Oldham, look at this, Chris Perry on the inside there of Chris Perry on the inside of Fred Bakker. Now they're coming to complete the second lap. It could be the opportunity here as they are about to go into turn one. It seems to me that Chris is very close to Fred and is going to potentially try the outside, or the inside, sorry, on turn one. Here he comes. And does he complete the job? It seems to me that he does. And does so, yes. Chris Perry is up into sixth place, or is he defended then from Fred Bakker's attempt at coming back at him? It seems to me that Fred is a slightly slower pace at this point than Chris. Let's go back through the grid. Mark Elder, 1.6 seconds ahead of Darren Head. Up to third, of course, is Diogo Silva. Nice start from the Portuguese driver, but look at that. There's already a battle developing there between Kev Allen and Jürgen Smets. Again, drivers in the same livery. Three drivers here in the same livery, but Jürgen, who was very quick in race one as well, trying to come back into a potentially a podium position. But so far he's behind Kev Allen, and Chris Perry is potentially faster than all of these drivers. And we have something going on with Rob Oldham. He has retired from the race, and we will see what on earth happened here, as he was already a minute behind, but he was running at some point in 8th place, so we do feel compelled to, well, he was in 10th by this point. He seems to have had a problem and has parked, yes, he has parked the car, so now we only have 10 drivers. Christian Clark is in 10th, followed by, well, behind Jorge Luna, behind David Goods, behind Fred Bakker, and this is where the battle is. So we're going to stay with these drivers because it is 4th place man Kev Allen, that 3rd place man Diogo Silva ahead of him, followed by Jürgen Smets, followed by Chris Perry, followed by Fred Bakker. This is the closest battle on the racetrack right now on lap 3 out of 11. And it seems to me that Jürgen is marginally faster than Kev. But so far, no overtaking opportunity. There's a race leader, there's Darren Head, there's Joe Silva, there is Kev Allen, there is Jürgen Smets, followed by Chris Perry and Fred Bakker. The top 7 separated by just 8 seconds. And then we've got 3 more drivers following them, completing the top 10. And Kev Allen has had a mistake there. Kev Allen has had a mistake. Here comes Jürgen Smets on the start-finish line. Who's ahead on this lap is still Kev Allen, but it seems to me that Jürgen is coming with more momentum. Unfortunately, he's got the outside line, but he does so and completes the pass. So Jürgen Smets up into 4th place. and Kev Allen down into fifth as Chris Perry is still in sixth and still coming back at trying to recover. Of course, the man that started on pole position but had a somewhat disastrous first lap, not only having a bad start but also running wide in the final section. A bit of a tactical race here at this stage, lap 4. Everyone just saving themselves for saving their tires primarily for attacking later on in the race. But there is one driver that cannot afford to wait for later in the race, and that's the blue car there, Chris Perry. He started on pole position and he is already 7 seconds behind the race leader. And surely he needs to start making moves very quickly indeed if he's got any chance uh, to finish on the podium. Again, trying that line there using the curb. Not sure that's being particularly effective right now, as he does not. Well, he's closing on. He's closing on Kev Allen. Let's go and on board with Chris Perry. He's still too far behind to make a move at the chicane. Nice exit there by Kev Allen. He's doing a good job also defending the position. Chris is way far behind to make a move here at the chicane move, but Kevin blocks up. Another lap is about to be complete. Remember, we've got 11 laps, so 5.5 will be the midpoint of this race. We are not yet, but we are almost at the midpoint of this race. Chris Perry, nice exit there, but so does Kev Allen. On board with Kev, how far is he from Diogo? He's a few car lengths behind, and Diogo Silva trying to keep up with Darren Head, but not very successful at doing so. Everyone just braking for turn 1 as now Kev Allen really starting to look in his mirrors because that blue car is very visible. Indeed, it's on the inside now. So the inside, not the greatest overtaking point there, easy to defend, but now is the real pressure. And here comes Chris Perry. Can he go on the outside? Here it's not the most obvious overtaking point, but it is possible. But Kev Allen defends on the inside. Nicely done there by Kev, still retaining that fourth place, but now he needs to make sure he's got a good exit from here, otherwise Chris definitely is going to be a challenge in the next heavy braking point. Here comes Chris Perry. Can he come on the inside now? Seems to be he's a little bit too far behind. He's on the inside there. Kev Allen gives him space. They go side by side, and I think Chris has job done now. Chris Perry up into fourth place. Let's look for other battles. That's oh, something happened to Jürgen Smets. Something happened to Jürgen Smets, and we have not captured that. Jürgen, sorry, that has escaped us. So we are going to rewind and figure out what on earth happened with Jürgen, because that was a free position for Chris Perry and other drivers ahead of him. And we definitely have to rewind this because Jürgen that did such a good job in race 1 until he spun out. It seems to me that he's got some sort of problem here. We'll try to rewind this slowly because there were some problems rewinding in the previous race. Well, this happened a while ago, and he dropped into 8th place. And what on earth happened to Jürgen Smets? Well, it was here, potentially. Oh, and he's seen rotating there, and well, I'll tell you what happened. He just runs wide, goes there, only one wheel in the gravel, and that's definitely a spin, and hits the barrier. Fortunately, no damage in Old Fox Racing PC. He is back on the track. He's lost a position to, of course, Chris Perry, and another one to Fred Bakker, and now another one to David Good. But what a disaster again for Jürgen Smets. He's had such a good run of pace. Now he's coming back at David, who of course had to slow down as well. And he's on the inside, and that's how he got up into 7th spot. As David is probably going to have to yield here. Yes, he is. And Jürgen on the outside, not the easiest of the overtakes, but completes the pass and is well now up into 7th place. But of course, he has lost almost 10 seconds with that spin. And let's see whether Jurgen can go back and potentially challenge for 6th place. He is, well, as I said, almost 10 seconds behind Fred Bakker now. Fred in 6th place, not doing particularly fast times, 2:00.285. Everyone else ahead of him is under 2 minutes. And definitely, let's go with Fred Bakker and look at his, for his perspective. This is, of course, a replay. Well, we'll take a look at the other drivers as we go back to where we were in the race with Chris Perry, of course, overtaking Kev Allen for 4th place. Now for 4th place after Jurgen's spin. Now 10th place man is Christian Clark. We understand he did not have a lot of time to practice, so effectively he's doing the practice and the race at the same time. Understandably, he's in 10th place. Still decent pace, 2:01.296. He's being faster than Jorge Luna, who is ahead of him in that yellow car. And David Good, of course, is in 8th spot. And losing steam there because he's being caught by Luna slightly. Well, he was the second faster in the last lap. Jürgen Smets, of course, he is recovering, but now in 6th, 7th place. Lap 5 already underway for the leaders. Mark Elder now with 4.9 seconds. So again, Mark running away with this race and having a slightly easier time than in race 1, where he had Chris Perry for company during most of the race. So we'll go back now to the battle for 4th place, because we saw Chris Perry overtaking Kev Allen, and now the question is, can Chris Perry challenge for a podium? He certainly has the time to do so, because we are on lap 6 only out of 11. And Chris also shouldn't forget that Kev Allen is going, oh, Chris running wide there, almost clips the gravel. But this group continues to be very interesting indeed, and it starts with Darren Head, and I believe here on the back stretch we are pretty much going to see everyone. We see Darren, we see Diogo, and Chris Perry as well. Oh, Darren Head has made a mistake there, going a little bit too deep in the braking. But I'll tell you who's coming big time. It is definitely Chris Perry. He definitely wants that podium. And the next man in line is Diogo Silva. Oh, Diogo makes a mistake there. Diogo makes a mistake there. Makes a mistake there. Where is Chris Perry? He's on the outside now. He's on the outside and he's going to get chopped down. And it was certainly easier than what Chris had anticipated, because Diogo just made a mistake there and ends up giving up the position easily as Chris was coming with more momentum. So Chris Perry now up into 3rd place. Diogo now followed by Kev, and of course the PlayStation trio of Darren, Diogo, and Kev is again very much together in this race, with Chris Perry there in the middle. But Chris certainly has ambitions to get into 2nd place and maybe challenging for 1st, but he's running a little bit out of time. Another lap is complete. The leader is already on lap 7. We will keep an eye on other battles as we go through the field in reverse. Once again, Christian Clark is in last place in 10th. He is 15 seconds already behind Jorge Luna. Jorge crosses the line. Let's look at the lap times. David Good ahead of him, 2:02.136, and Luna 2:02.355. So almost no difference, 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds between the two drivers. Let's look at the pace of Jürgen Smets, because he potentially could still be challenging for 6th place later on. He's got basically 6 seconds, but he has been very quick indeed in the last lap, 1:59.183 versus Fred Bakker, who had a poor lap. 201.512. Let's go back to that group of drivers with Chris Perry in the lead of that group, and Chris has checked out completely from um, Diogo Silva, who is now under pressure from Kev Allen. This is a bit of a repeat of the battle of race 1. But on the other hand, Chris is making good moves there, and he is already behind Darren Head. Let's go on board with Chris Perry now as they complete another lap. And Chris still could finish in second place, which is where he finished in race 1. Now he's got Darren Head for company as they basically complete another lap. And let's see if he can get close enough that he can make a move. Ooh, a little bit wide there on the exit of the last corner. Let's go and see Kev Allen versus Diogo Silva. Kev Allen still too far behind, certainly no opportunity here, but nicely done there. Later braking than what Diogo is able to achieve. And now he's coming on the inside, but that's a little bit too far there. Let's go back to the battle with Chris Perry. He's trying a little bit too hard. This section is really one that you cannot try too hard. You cannot overdrive the car. You just have to carry as much speed as possible through those very annoying slow corners, and that's where you get your lap times in this circuit. Mark Elder, look at him, he's got 7 seconds of a gap to Darren Head, and of course Darren and Chris are now very close to one another. As we enter the late stages of this race, lap 8, we should have time for 11 laps surely. And we'll keep an eye on the battle between Fred Bakker and Jürgen Smith. Look at that, they almost identical times, only half a second between them, with Fred now being quicker. Look at this now, Darren Head slightly offline there. And here comes Chris Perry, but he's still too far behind. We'll see if towards the end of the lap, he's trying very hard there in that corner. And now this is the critical corner to get the speed down this section and into the Vidal chicane. And Chris Perry is definitely closer. The question is he close enough? Doesn't seem likely that he's going to go on the inside here. So let's see now in turn 1 what happens there, and there a little bit not too clean through that chicane. Let's go and see Kev Allen. Kev Allen is losing time. Kev Allen definitely has lost time. He's 1.3 seconds behind Diogo Silva, and here comes Mark Elder in turn 1. Now here comes Chris Perry. Here comes Chris Perry. He's trying to go on the inside, not quite there. Darren Head, that was an easy defense, as he still was very much ahead. Lap 9 already, so 2 to go at the line, and Chris Perry spins. Chris Perry spins. We definitely saw someone spinning, and that was Chris Perry. Yes, we will get the replay on this. It didn't have any assistance. Oh, and it just presses a little bit too much of the throttle, and this is a light car, not too much power, but still enough power to wait that it's very sensitive to this throttle control. And Chris Perry has lost 2 positions now, and he's down into 6th place again. He does remain ahead of Jürgen Smets, but look at that, Fred Bakker is up into 5th place now, Kev Allen up into 4th, and Diogo Silva back into a podium position. So another problem for Chris Perry. This race has not gone the way he wanted. He still has a couple of laps to go to try to recover, but now he's running out of time, as race leader Mark Elder is dominating this race. The number 75, the gold and black car, has led every lap of this race, and he is about to enter lap 10. We'll keep an eye on the timer to see if he has time to start an 11th lap within the 20 minutes of this race. Darren Head is now running on his own. Darren Head has opened the gap of around 3 seconds to Diogo Silva, and here comes again Kev Allen. What can Kev do? Let's go on board with him. On board with Kev Allen. He's still a couple of seconds behind Diogo Silva, but he's still got a couple of laps. Lap 10 already for the leader. Let's look at the lap times. Diogo Silva 1:59.741. That was in the previous lap, 1:59.994. Not particularly quick, but still faster than Kev, 2:00.207. So Kev still has to find a little bit of pace. Of course, tires are worn out at this point. And Kev Allen is in the wall. Kev Allen is in the wall. Reset button as it's allowed in the Old Fox Racing PC. Chris Perry is up into 5th place again. And look at that, Fred Bakker, who has been incredibly consistent, and this shows how important consistency is in these races. You do not have to be the fastest guy, you definitely have to be consistent, and Fred Bakker has been the master of consistency. He has been doing almost the same lap time every lap, making no mistakes with his car. Especially at corner exit, is a very tricky car. You just accelerate a little bit too much and you lose control of it. But now, within 1.5 laps to go, Fred Bakker is up into 4th place. Kev Allen has had a problem at the exit of turn 1. He's still 4 seconds ahead of Jürgen Smith, so I'm not sure that Fred will have Jürgen, will have the time to challenge realistically for 6th place. Fred Bakker definitely wants to challenge for 4th, but Chris Perry, who has had a yo-yo race, he's been in pretty much every position from 1st to 7th, now finds himself with just 1 lap to go and in 5th place, definitely not where he wanted to be. Mark Elder is going to start the last lap very, very shortly indeed. And the closest battle is definitely this one. It is Fred Bakker defending from Chris Perry. Lap 11 already. We are in the last lap of this race. 10 seconds separate the top two, followed then by Diogo Silva. 3 seconds behind Darren. Seems to be that he's not going to get there. 1:59.709 was half a second slower than Darren. Fred Bakker actually a very good time, 1:59.627. But look at Chris Perry. He definitely has the pace. When he's up to speed, 1:57.945. I believe that's the fastest lap of the race. The question is, can he still challenge for 4th place or not? Because Fred Bakker is doing an amazing job there. Diogo Silva is there ahead of both of them. Kev Allen is there in the background, and these drivers have been together for most of the race. We are on the last lap. We will shift to the leader very shortly, but as these guys are, well, 16. Oh, and Chris Perry runs by there. That's definitely not what he wanted, as Chris only has a few more corners to go, and the other driver who has a few more corners to go is Mark Elder, who is going to score another victory. He's still a few corners away from it, but the checkered flag is already in the air. He's already in the last section of this Nurburgring GP circuit, and he's got just a chicane and 1 more corner to go. And it's going to be another win for Mark Elder. I'm not entirely sure he's leading the championship. I need to keep more track, as he didn't score very well in the first round, but definitely the second round has been absolutely brilliant for him. And the checkered flag is in the air, and Mark Elder wins the race, followed by Darren Head, followed by Diogo Silva, and here is Fred Bakker and Chris Perry, and it seems to me that Fred is going to retain that 4th spot as everyone else completes the race as well. And Chris Perry desperately trying to gain ground in the last corner. Not quite. He did get there. Kev Allen is going to be 6th. And look at this. Jürgen Smith's nice recovery there, but he's still 7th. 1:58.960. That was a good lap. And even better in the last lap. David Good and Jorge Luna are actually not that far from one another, but David Good is going to finish in 8th spot, followed by Luna in 9th, and we will take the last few corners with Christian Clark. Of course, we normally are used to see Christian, but oh, and Christian is off the track there on the last lap. He's not going to lose any positions because he's the last driver running in 10th spot. Of course, we are used to seeing Christian a little bit higher up in the leaderboard, but this just wasn't his combo, and he is going to finish the race in 10th spot. Very interesting race here in round two. This completes coverage of this round in the Liberated channel. We hope you enjoy it, and we're going to see you very shortly in round three. Thank you very much.